Hello and welcome to yet another Awaken Chaos Era video. In this video I'm going to be going over the two remaining new additions, the characters that have been added to the game. There is one legendary and one epic character. I have gone over Geronal already in the intro for my event guide for The Dawn is Coming. If you want to check that out, there will be a link in the top right hand corner. Let's check out these other characters though. Now, both the other new characters have been added as well to Holy Light Empire as well as Geronal. And we'll first up look at the legendary character and then the epic character. The legendary character we're going to look at is Darcy. And I really like the visuals, honestly. I really like the visuals a lot. She's another fire-based character. And we look at her, stats is going to be more based towards attack and HP. So like an offensive tank, maybe. We'll have to look through it. And we'll look at her passive first, and it is called Fight to the Death. Grants 1 stack of Battle Spirit when attacking or taking damage, maximum of 6 stacks. Now once it is ascended, it does go up to 10 stacks rather than the 6 stacks. And it also grants 1 stack of Immune for 1 turn at the start of the battle. Battle Spirit goes up to 6 stacks initially, and on Ascension 10 stacks. On the left hand side you can see it just gives 5% damage per stack. So up to a potential of 50% extra damage on the attacks. And considering in the stat balance that is where the majority of Darcy's power is, that is going to be the biggest amplification, obviously. If she was getting defense buff here, she's not really got a good defense rating, so that wouldn't be very good. But it's an attack buff, this is good. Immune is nice. This character will not be affected by any subsequent negative effects, and that is going to be off of turn 1. That means you can build her maybe a little bit slower and, potentially take her in certain game modes like Arena and stuff. We'll have to see the rest of her kit first, but you could build her a bit slower. She could go on defense. She's not going to be able to be defense downed on that first turn if you've got, fast attacking characters coming up against you. So there is potential there. And because she's got some HP, she is going to be quite tanky. Now her first skill is called Crimson Hammer. Deal 120% damage to an enemy with a 50% chance of launching a bonus basic ability against the target. Now this should proc her passive potentially twice when it actually does this. And obviously if she does have Curse set, she could potentially do 3 attacks. You'll do 2 bonus hits basically. So that's actually pretty nice. And obviously you want to try and build up that passive as much as possible, because at the moment I don't see any way that will be removed. It's just kind of like a constant stack, but potentially could have, an enemy character cleanse it. But that's the only way I kind of see it. As a basic skill, it is pretty much as it says. It is a basic. It's not doing anything too crazy, but it could help build up that passive quite nicely. Now she has got another passive, and this one applies counter attack upon taking non-boss damage higher than this character's 50% of health, deal 150% damage to the target, and restores 60% lost health. This is actually pretty good. It's going to be very hard to, do significant damage against this character unless you completely one-shot her. I think that'll probably bypass this. But if you do not one-shot her and you do significant damage, she's going to do significant damage back and heal herself. That's again, like I think she's like the opposite of Geronal. She's seeming like more of an arena-based defense team character that does it seems quite offensively powerful. She is going to have quite high HP like a lot of arena-based characters do on defense. So she's going to be fitting in quite nicely there. Most of those characters are water-based or wood-based. This one is fire-based, so it is going to be bringing something a little bit different into the fray. Next up is the ultimate, and it has got a 3-turn cooldown. It is called Fatal Hit. It deals 150% damage to an enemy and grants 1 stack of Invincible for 1 turn. Invincible is removed upon taking a valid hit. Launches bonus attack with this character's basic ability if the target has positive effects. So this is really nice. It's going to stop her from taking damage as well. So she's got things to stop her from taking damage, and when she does, she's going to heal up and counter. Very frustrating character. I would say almost definitely it's going to be a character for arena defense, unless there's going to be some interesting potential. I think she could be a good event character. In past events, we've had the events where we've had to take a barrage of cannons, for instance. This would proc all of her skills. So she'll be able to get stacks, and she'll be able to get boosts, and she'll be able to do counters and stuff like that based on that. So she'd work in certain other areas, but I don't think she's going to work, unless she's a pure damage dealer for you, she's going to work in too many boss stages. But she could potentially work in Guild Boss. She does multiple hits on her A1, so there's potential there, I guess. But yeah, I think arena defense is where this character seems to be built towards, and It's going to be frustrating, honestly. It's going to be frustrating indeed. Especially considering she has got that higher grade health, so she should be able to get up to like 15,000 plus health like all these other like Mythasias and all that have, which is honestly the worst part of Arena, is that health stack. And you know, she's bringing it as well, but I guess if she doesn't have the health stack, she's not going to be viable on defense on Arena, so why would you get her for defense on Arena? So I kind of feel it. I really do like the art of this character, I will say. It looks actually sick. The glow on the red, I really like the visuals. You don't see any face, it's just, you know, the knight's armor on. She's got that ponytail going through the helmet. I actually like that. I like that quite a lot. So I'm not sure how to get this character just yet. She could potentially be in the same summons right now as Goronal. She could be in the main summons in the game right now. So like we just did the main summons, advanced summons. You did your free daily. You could potentially just get her. I don't know. There's no information on that. But that is a first look at Darcy as a character. And like I say, she's going to be pretty frustrating in arena defense teams, I feel.
A real warrior fears nothing.
Indeed. And next up we have Crixus, who is going to be the epic character added to the game. He doesn't have any crazy animation at the beginning, but he is an epic character, so it's not likely to happen. But he has got a crazy sword. That is a crazy weapon right there. Crazy indeed. He is a wood-based character, if that makes a difference to you. And he is more attack and speed. You don't see that too often. A lot of the time it's attack crit rate, attack HP as we saw before. But attack and speed is quite nice. Now we'll look at his trait bonus. And you can see that he has got Weight of the Earth. Grants shield for 1 turn when a shattering blow bonus attack is triggered. And then on the advanced one, the Ascension, it says grant shield and control immunity for 1 turn when a shattering blow bonus attack is triggered. So, but a shield is obvious. It gives him basically extra health where you have to go through the shield before you get into his actual hit points. And then the control immunity means he cannot be controlled by anything. Nothing at all. No stun, no freeze, nothing like that. So that's actually going to be very useful indeed. And honestly, any game mode. This could be an any game mode sort of character. Now looking at his basic, it is going to be nice because it's going to be doing defense down. Deals 100% damage to an enemy with 30% chance to launch a bonus attack with shattering blow. Applies defense down for 1 turn. This is where you're going to get that shattering blow for his trait. But also defense down is nice, and because it's on his A1, you can disable the rest of his kit for particular bosses if you just want to be putting defense down constantly on the bosses. You would obviously have to build him a bit more like focus based, so you're actually hitting that more often, so your other damage dealers are doing more damage. But this isn't too terrible at all, to be honest. Now, he doesn't seem to have a passive. He does have a special, which is basically his second skill. It's called Wrathful Punch. 3-turn cooldown. Deal 160% damage to an enemy with 30% chance again to launch a bonus attack with Shattering Blow. Chance scales with the speed difference between this character and the target. And then you can see that obviously the scaling below, it has a few upgrades. 160% is actually pretty decent. It is single target. 30% chance to deal that extra attack again, so it seems to be the same as that basic. And Shattering Blow will give that bonus basically like we saw before. It'll give him a personal shield, so he'll just get a little bit more survivability. Now lastly is Crixus's ultimate. It has got a 4-turn cooldown, Explosive Thorns. Deal 200% damage to an enemy with 50% chance to launch a bonus attack with Shattering Blow. Chance scales with the speed difference between this character and the target. And it applies speed down for 3 turns, which probably does make the second time he does the ultimate more, more prominent because of the difference. But you'd have to extend that debuff because it doesn't last long enough for him to do it again. That's the only downside that I can see here. But this is actually pretty decent. It just kind of seems like a more solo version of Jonathan, where Jonathan gives shields to everybody. He's just going to give shields to himself. And you could potentially use him as the single target damage dealer. You don't necessarily have to go with Santis. You could go with this character instead, with Jonathan and Zatlux. And you're doing more of a percentage damage queen killing team. It's probably not going to be as fast, but it could be an option. It really is up to you and what you want to go for. But I kind of see this guy as more like a boss killing character. But he could potentially be good in the tower just because he's constantly giving himself shields, and he's got that defense down, which is going to make those harder tower stages a bit easier to take down. And while he does have a chance to multi-hit quite a lot, I don't know if he's going to be that useful in like Guild Boss, just because it's not guaranteed. You know, it's basically trying to give you a chance that every time he does get that shield, it's nice, but it's not going to happen every time. 30%, 30%, 50%. and I guess a little bit of scaling on this ultimate, but still, it's got a chance to proc, but you want guarantees in Guild Boss. But I kind of see this guy as more of a, like I say, a tower character, or a character potentially on you know, certain boss stages, maybe like Queen, if you aren't going to be running Santis. So that's Crixus, and I think we've had 2 of the wood epics. I call this wood, I'm not like jungle wood, but we have had 2 of the green epics in a row. I think the other one was the one that has the, like, I don't know, the pyramids on the skill. I can't remember the name. I haven't actually had a chance to get her, but when I have a chance to get this character and his absolutely crazy level swords, it'll be actually interesting to see the animation of his attacks and stuff. But I mean, he looks semi-decent. I think obviously the legendary out of these 2 characters is very useful. But this guy has some potential in, you know, certain gamers, and you never know. You never know. He could get a little boost in the future if they don't feel he's like living up to what they have implemented him for. So that's it. Looking at those 2 characters, you can see Geronimo on the screen right now, and you should see a link coming up on the screen very soon if you want to go and check out my guide for the current event. My preview of Geronimo is in that guide video as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any thoughts on those characters, where you think they'd be usable, maybe I'm missing something with Crixus. We'll have to see how he's going to be used. But I think he's obviously more accessible, so you should be able to get him up to Ascensions a bit easier. So you'll get that control immunity much quicker and stuff like that. So that's not too bad for him. Do give me your thoughts on these characters in the comments down below, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.